What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Wednesday. Today, Wednesday. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
What was your question yesterday, Becca, or this morning that you sent me?
It was about when you for your virtual sales. Are you doing stuff by hand for 3 months and then switching it back to the original price, or did you
call iGo support?
Okay. Awesome.
Diane from iGo support will actually make you your new plan. She just made ours for us yesterday. I don't know how to do any of that crap.
Perfect.
It's hard for me to even get the contracts into the right people once I sign them. I'm like, cool, they're ready. Like, they're not paying. I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably important. What's up, Michael? All right, let's get her started. I know some of you guys are already getting in state, so why don't let's continue this. Let's go, people. Let's go. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Let's go. All right. As I get this over to YouTube, Facebook, I'm going to share this on my timeline. Why don't you guys start out writing some gratitudes? What are you grateful for right now? Write them down. Remember the story I shared with you guys yesterday or the day before? What you write will become reality because your subconscious is going to work towards it. So write down 3 or 4 things you're grateful for. What's up, Zachy? Write down a couple things that you're grateful for right now. It's so important that we keep our minds focused on what we want and what we have versus what we don't have and the things we don't want. So important. Michael knows. He's on the other call with me. So we're focusing on what we want in life, not what we don't want in life. So keep writing your gratitudes and write the things that you're that you want in life. What do you want versus what you don't want? Come on, girl, go ahead, get down. It's all right. Get down, girl, go ahead. You can. We're okay with that. All right, let's see if we can't get this to stream live on the Facebook. What are you grateful for? What's your superpower? Has your superpower changed as you've thought more about it since last week and this week? If it has, write down your superpower. Move your bodies a little bit. Get in state. Get in some flow. There you go. Be fun about this. This is your life. Smile a little bit. This is what you are creating. Smile a little bit. Make some noise if you need to. Let it out. Let it out. Ah! I'm a champion. There we go. There you go. Write your goals like they're happening for you right now. Write down your gratitudes like you're living it. Write down what you are doing like you're living it. Come on, people. It's so crucial. It's so easy to do. It's so easy not to do. All right. I don't know whether or not we're live on Facebook. I don't know if we're live on Facebook, but that's okay. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's not meant to be, then it don't be. It don't be. Okay, so hold on. Trying to get to my profile here to see if we're live. And we are not. All right, that's all right. Oh my gosh, we got Ariane and Jimmy and Daryl and Luz. Look at this, it's gonna be a great day. All right, here we go. Ariane, the marketing master. Ariane, the marketing master. He's crushing it right now. Okay, what I want to talk about.
You.
No, dude, thank you. My one of my Tony boys. It's cool to see a lot of people. It's cool to see how this world changes from the people that are on every day. 2 o'clock, somebody pointed out to me, is a shit time to be on during the middle of the day because some people actually are still working. So like, why did you do that at noon? And I'm like, well, I wasn't early enough to get the noon slot. There's already something else happening. So here's what we're going to do today. We forgot to talk yesterday about the differences between partnerships and relationships. And so I want to make sure we touch base on that. I was with somebody yesterday and they said that we didn't talk about that. All right. I didn't talk about that as I was talking to them, and I realized how important it was. So what's the difference between a partnership and a relationship? Well, do relationships even exist? Dr. Singh's in the house with her headset. She's ready to go to the moon. All we need to do is put a helmet on her and she's going to launch to orbit. What's up, Blake? What's the difference between a relationship and a partnership? If you know the answer, unmute yourself.
A partnership is more like a collaboration, and I guess a relationship is more intimacy involved. At least that's what I see off the top of my head.
What else? Thank you for sharing.
Partnership, there is...
Go back to Allison Armstrong.
A match of growth. I mean, like energy, people wanting to grow together. Not that relationship wouldn't be that. I mean, I guess partnership is more like a group situation. A lot of times it can be, but not necessarily. There's a partnership inside of the relationship too. I don't know. There's many ways you could take this. It's a good question. Sorry. Hopefully that's made some sort of difference.
No, it's good. It's good. So if you go back to Allison Armstrong, she says, you can't have relationships. Relationships are really just a series of partnerships. And if you want to know what your partnership looks like, if you want to know what your relationship looks like, look at how you show up to your individual meetings as partners. And so are you showing up in your meetings as partners or as relationship? And what I take away from this is that when you're in a relationship, you tend to take it for granted. Oh, it's my dog, it's my wife, it's my this, it's my that. I don't have to take care of it as well. When it's a partnership, right? If you think about somebody investing $100,000 into your business right now, you're probably going to treat that person differently than maybe your spouse that you've seen every day now for the last 36 days straight with no break. But then you wonder why the relationship with your partner is better than the relationship with your spouse. Does that make sense? So if you show up to every single meeting, doesn't matter what the meeting is, if you show up every time to seeing that person with excitement, with curiosity, with joy, with love, with happiness, how do you think they're going to show up to you? Probably in a different manner. You might even be angry at the person. It's okay to be angry at somebody, but still show up ready to do business. Anita's getting her launch sequence set up right now. As you can see, she's talking to NASA.
I don't know how to do it on the phone. Sorry.
NASA, Houston, we have a problem. Houston,
I was
we have
going
a problem.
to say also a partnership is more like working toward a cohesive goal versus relationship is more individual.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
That's from NASA. You're welcome.
Well, I mean, when you're all the way up in the moon, you should be able to see things differently when you have that much insight. It's true. looking down versus looking up. It's important. That's a really good thing too, right? The way you think about it is so important. So we want to show up as partners every day, right?
Right.
Everybody has am I hearing my?
I want to add a little something to that.
Yeah,
as well.
go for it, Zach.
I feel that partnership is really any relationship that is actually worthwhile, that's important in my life. We have some type of a partnership. Relationship, I think of that. My relationships that I don't see as a partnership is just are more of an acquaintance style. I have somewhat of a relationship, but if we're not actually actively working on growing ourselves and growing, helping each other, elevate ourselves to a higher consciousness or whatever have you, I see that as a relationship. Most of the people in my life, I see we have a partnership. If that made sense.
You kind of lost me there a little bit as you started going into the third and fourth and fifth and sixth dimension. I'm going to try to summarize it. So, and I might challenge you to think differently, because that's what this is about. And if I'm right about your interpretation, I'm going to challenge you to think differently. If I'm wrong, you can unmute yourself and we can debate it a little bit more. What I heard you say is that partners are people that you have more of a higher connection to. No, relationships are people you have a higher connection to. Partners are people opposite.
No.
Just repeat what you said, because I lost you.
I'm saying, okay, I'll say it slower too and more focused. Sorry, I just literally took my supplements a few minutes ago. I'm not as focused, but I know what I'm saying. Let me see if I can put it in better words. Partnerships, I see. So the people in my life that are very important to me, like my friends, my loves, my family, well, not all my family, but the people that are really important to me, we have a partnership. The people that are more of an acquaintance, I see that as a relationship.
Okay. Yeah, so we're on the same page. So what I would challenge you guys to do is try to enroll everybody that comes into your world as a partner. Try to enroll everybody who comes into your world as a partner. Try not to get people as, try not to think in the terms of relationships as much as you think in the terms of partnerships. So everybody's a partner, whether it's the gas station attendant, it's the mailman, mail woman, mail thing, male transgender, whatever it is. Everybody's a partner. Right? Nobody's a relationship. And the reason why is because the way that I learned it and the way that I took away from it was that relationships are taken for granted and partnerships are typically not. So if you can always think about everybody as a partnership, even the people you don't like, right? Those are the people you want to enroll the most, because those are the people that give you the hardest time. So the people who you like the least, right? If you can enroll them as a partner, it works really well. So I'll give you the example, right? Family is always easy to talk about because family, typically they love you the most, but they also give you the most crap. And you take the most crap from them and you give them the most crap because they're family, and it's like a relationship that's hard to sever because it's family. And so you tend to not take it as seriously. So my little brother and I, right, we butt heads on things not too often anymore because I try to show up as a partner for him instead of as a relationship. I try to show up as a partner. What would I do if we were in business together? What would I do if you were paying me as a coach? What would you do? How would I show up for you then? And I try to show up that way for him. And so after we got into our argument a couple of days ago, I said, we were both in the back. My parents have my parents' house, they have like a little outhouse type thing. So we're outside in the back garage. And I go, dude, we just had this great talk yesterday and today, and now we showed up together and we weren't partners. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, I'm like, I didn't show up as your partner. You didn't show up as my partner. We're like enemies against each other. And he's like, yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, I don't want that. Do you? He's like, no. I'm like, so what do I need to do to enroll you back into my circle of partners? And we were able to have a conversation around it. So when you bring this concept up to people, you might want to share with them where you're coming from and how you're going to, and tell them like, I want to enroll you into my world every single day. So tell me what I need to do to re-enroll you back into my world every day. Like, what do I got to do? Right. And if you, this isn't a man or a woman thing, but this is a masculine and a feminine energy thing. All right. So ladies, gentlemen, don't rip my things heads off. Masculine energy likes to just look in the horizon. They like to focus. They like to hunt. They like to shoot. If you ask a man a question and you say, look into my eyes, it's like he's like, it's really hard. You take two boys, childhood boys, you put them next to each other with the seats facing towards each other, they're going to kick them out so that they can look over the horizon. It's just how we're built. We look over the horizon to protect. It happens as babies. It's just how we're built. You take two girls, have the seats kicked out towards the horizon, they're going to move them in so they can look eye to eye. Women need that eye-to-eye connection. Men don't. Like, I could look at my older brother for hours and he'd be like, you didn't notice anything? I'm like, I didn't even really look at you, dude. Like, I don't even know. What was I supposed to notice? Like, I don't even, I did this or I did that. I'm like, oh, yeah, you did. It's why when guys are asked, did you not notice my hair? You're like, it's not that we're trying not to ignore you. We're just built to not look directly at you. We're looked to see the horizon. The reason I bring up masculine and feminine energy is because the feminine is about connection and the masculine isn't necessarily in the same way that the feminine is. And so the more we tell each other what we want instead of a guessing game, the more our communication rises and our partnerships increase, right? If I have a team member, I don't like the word employee. I like to enroll everybody who works with me, not for me, with me as a team member versus an employee or versus a subordinate. We're all equal because we're all running the business. They need to know how much revenue sometimes coming in. Sometimes they need to know how the sales models work. In this state that we're in, they need to know a lot more than they probably needed to know last month. They need to understand how we're staying afloat and how their paychecks are being paid. Because right now it's not me paying their paychecks. It's the small amount of members that have decided to continue with us through this hard time and this uncertainty. That's how they're getting paid. And they know that and they understand. So I'm enrolling them to work harder than maybe they would have because we're in a closed period. Because they understand that these members are what keep their hours alive and they don't want to go on. These aren't the type of people that want to get free money. They want to earn their money. Right? They want to earn their money. And so this is how you enroll them to earn their money. So when you're a feminine energy, right? If you're a lady in here, or if you're a man that's more feminine, you kind of expect that the other feminine energy will pick up on what you're saying or what you're thinking, and the other feminine energy typically will. That's why women can get into sync during the time of the month together. It's the flow, right? Men, on the other hand, will, like, I can walk through my kitchen, like, no shitting you. I can walk through my kitchen, my trash can smell. And I'm like, yeah, the cleaners are coming in 36 hours. It's not that bad. I'll just put on some essential oils and it'll be fine. And I'll be totally cool with it. A feminine energy will be like, you don't smell that? I'm like, yeah, well, no, I did. I smelt it. You don't see that? No, I did. It just wasn't that big of a deal. Like, to walk an extra 50 feet to the trash can it's not really that big of a deal. They're going to be here tomorrow. Like, let them do it. Like, let them just take all the trash out at one time. Why should I do it? Fuck it. I'm paying for the service. Like, I don't like doing it. They do. It's a good trade-off. So just remember that as we go into some things. All right. Good. I want to kill it. Jimmy said it's inefficient. I don't know what that means, Jimmy.
Inefficient.
I don't know what that means.
It's inefficient to do the thing, so just let them do it. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I still don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm saying with the trash. Just
yeah.
Wait. It's not a big deal, so just wait. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a big deal. It sometimes it smells funny, but I mean, like, I don't know. It's still not that big of a deal, though. I'm like, I'll just let them do it. It's why I wait till like the very last minute to get gas, because I don't want to waste time filling up extra times. So today what we're going to talk about is LinkedIn. Who here is on LinkedIn? Got one,
Me.
2, 3,
Everybody.
4, 5. So about half of you are on LinkedIn. The other half aren't. Maybe a little less than half. And I know some of you guys work for businesses, or you're, in the medical field. Ariane's on LinkedIn. So let me tell you something. So I just watched I've been following this gal off and on for a while. And she used to work for Gary Vee, and she's a badass. So before we start though, I found this video of Gary Vee's very first video. It's awesome. Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Episode of Wine Library TV. I'm Gary Vaynerchuk, the Director of Operations here at Wine Library and WineLibrary.com, and I'm very.
Can you guys see that's all?
We think is the first video wine blog. We've been talking about doing a blog here at Wine Library for a long time. Something profound and exciting for our first video blog, and so I'm going to get right into it. First wine that we're going to be doing is the Verte Lamieux. Lamieux, meaning inspiration. It's a wonderful bottle of wine. These wines were opened about 5 or 6 hours ago. As you can tell, the color is just remarkable. They were open 5 or 6 hours ago. We taped the first episode. This actually 5 hours ago, but the camera stunk. So quick ride to Best Buy, free plug. And we basically picked up this cool camera. We hope you like the quality. We do. And let's get right into this. Those are remarkable. 85% Merlot, a little bit of Cab Franc, about 13%. Classic Pomerol style. When I smell.
There's no video here? Huh. I got scammed. I've got scammed. Hold on. All right, call in random people.
Yeah, it's the place where they can make the most money. So yeah, I think it's insecurity, or it's complete and utter addiction to buying things or having, and then it leads to insecurity, right? Because having a big car, having a nice clothes, having a big house, having that car that everybody thinks is cool, or flexing on a picture of the nice vacation you're on, oftentimes is just another indicator to insecurity that you need outside validation to drive your happiness, and you're not able to deal with criticism. And then now what you're going to see is a lot of entrepreneurs really fail because they just really didn't actually know how to run a business. It was really, their economics were upside down. They didn't save. They didn't make assumptions. They didn't strategize. And so that's something to think about.
Okay. And then my last question would be,
convenience. People love being, a lawyer when they litigate, but not when they, are behind the scenes. And when you're that, you're vulnerable, because then you're not completely, fully succumbed to that love, that process. That's what I mean when I talk about loving my game. Every part of it, not just the parts that are convenient, not just the parts that bring me what I want. People, I'm telling you, the farmer job.
Okay, did you guys notice a little difference between his first video and his current video? He didn't swear. He didn't drop any F-bombs in there. Typically, he's every other word's an F-bomb. But did your first video and the second video seem different? The first video, he was very intense. He was very intense. He was very serious. Second video, he was very laid back. It's just like, whatever, who cares? You know how many videos they estimate Gary Vee has done? Probably 25 to 30,000. If you do 25,000 videos, you're probably going to become less caring about what people say or don't say about your stuff, right? Just think about that as you're doing your videos. Don't beat yourself up so hard, okay? It's just a video. So let's talk LinkedIn, all right? So we have a bunch of people on LinkedIn, right? There's a couple of things about LinkedIn, and I'm not an expert in LinkedIn, but I'm going to share with you what I know, because I've been following LinkedIn for years. And what I realize is that it's so easy to use, right? It's so much easier to use. What do you think the population's like in LinkedIn? Do you think it's mid-20s, mid-30s, mid-40s plus? Where do you think? 20s and unders, 30s and 40s, 50s, 60s, 100s, thousands, dead? Where are
I
the
would
people
say
on LinkedIn?
also it's like from 0 to 100.
Where do you think the majority of, like, okay, if we think about TikTok, who does TikTok cater to, and Snapchat? Yeah, 30 to 50s for LinkedIn. So TikTok, Snapchat, they're still the younger demographic. There's still content that you can do on there, right? You can still get followings. It's just not as easy depending on your content. Facebook, what's the age group? Well, let's just say this. Is Facebook going up or down? Up.
In age, yeah.
Up in age. Instagram, up or down?
I would say up as well.
Yeah, you're right. So your TikTok and your Snapchats are for your younger generations, right? Although there's a lot of content there that's available for people our age, there's a lot of shuffling to get through. And the way that the algorithms work for Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, probably, I don't know about Twitter very much, but the way that those work is by how many people like your content. So they like, they post, they engage, you get the algorithm to pick you up on. On Instagram, you post an IGTV, the algorithm picks you up. But if nobody watches your IGTV or nobody engages with your IGTV, guess what Instagram does? This isn't good content. People aren't engaging. Let's show something else. Let's show the kids to, oh, na, na, na. Oh, na, 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 right? Like, that's what it is. LinkedIn is actually built for people like us that want to do business. That's what it's built for. It's awesome. It's very easy to use. LinkedIn's always been my favorite platform to use because it's so freaking easy, right? Like you go on the post, it's laid out like somebody who's running a fucking business would lay it out. Whereas like TikTok and Instagram, I don't know how all those things work really. And it's a little bit harder sometimes. It's not impossible, but it takes a little bit more consistency on those platforms to get a liking, right? To get a following, to create an audience. You got to be on there all the time, right? It's not something you can just set it and forget it. Well, LinkedIn is what we call the lazy person's platform to become an influencer. Because with LinkedIn, guess how they rate your in content? Guess how they rate you in engagement? Try not to run over my dog on the ground. Have you guys all seen my dog? Oh, na, na, na. Hi, boss. Hi, boss. We call him El Jefe. So
oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need tech support over here. If only I could find somebody Indian that could help me with this thing. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So LinkedIn, like I was saying before we froze again, is called Parag. LinkedIn is one of the easier platforms you guys can start up on to start to get traction, because the way that LinkedIn sees whether or not you're doing what you need to do, or to see if you're active, if they want to show your content, is one is how engaging are you with other people, right? So when you post something, if you're commenting on a lot of other people's stuff, what are you doing to the LinkedIn platform? You're using it. And what does every platform want out of their user base? They want your time. right? What's the most valuable commodity that we all have? Time. So the more of the time that they can get you on their platform, the more they're going to boost your posts up for them automatically. Imagine if that was the same with Instagram or Facebook. The more time you spent on their platform, the more they boost your post. Man, I would be like maxed out on everything. But that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. So when you're engaging with people on Instagram, you're engaging with people on their posts so that they come back and hopefully they like your comment, they see your feed, they see who you're about, and then they join your following, right? Different with LinkedIn. When you engage with others, they're going to boost your profile so that people can see it. So as I get my computer up here, we'll go look into a couple of things that are pretty cool and pretty simple. So what's super important about LinkedIn? What's really cool about LinkedIn is that, well, I want you guys to write something down. Influence is not luck, it's a strategy, right? Becoming an influencer is not luck, it's a strategy. And that's what we're all here to do. We're all here to influence people at some level or the other. Doesn't matter which level you're trying to influence people at, whether you're trying to influence them in the business world, you're trying to influence them in the personal space. Influence is not luck, it's a strategy. LinkedIn, 80% of the people on LinkedIn are business drivers, AKA they have some sort of impact on decision-making process. LinkedIn is also the #1 lead generation platform. Bet you didn't know that. Videos growing on LinkedIn faster than anything else on LinkedIn right now. Obviously, everybody's pushing video. Guess around the amount of money the average earner makes on LinkedIn? 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 130. What do you think the average person's making financially on LinkedIn?
200K per year.
Mark, did you say 200? I like Mark's circle. We need to hang out with his circle more often. Michael hit it on the nose, 75K. The LinkedIn right now is $75,000 per year average income, which means they can afford to buy your product. If you're selling higher end product, guess what? They can probably afford to buy it. If you're talking to people that are making $20,000 or $30,000 a year, they're probably going to have a little bit of time affording a high end product, correct? So that's one of the things that's really cool about LinkedIn. Let's see if I can get back on my computer so I can do a share screen here eventually with you guys. Okay.
You are muted.
There we go. Thank you much. All right. So those are some of the things about LinkedIn, right? You need to know. Oh, there's also 675 plus million people on LinkedIn. So it's a big enough demographic that you can find somebody to do business with, right? Another thing about LinkedIn is they allow you in about 2018, 2017, they allowed native video. Native video means you can actually create the video on their platform. So people that do that, they get a little bit more love from LinkedIn as well, right? Again, the goal is that everybody wants your attention. Do you know that LinkedIn is older than almost all the other platforms out there? You know what that means? It means that they have SEO built in to their platform more than other people. Where do you use Instagram? On your phone or your computer? Phone, right? From the app. You're on the app. Where do you use Facebook? Your phone or your computer? Through the phone app, right? LinkedIn, typically when I use LinkedIn, I do it on my computer. And it's typically because I'm looking up something for business. So I don't know what the exact stats are, but I would assume that people use LinkedIn more during their business hours. And they're using it more for what? Work. Right? So when people go to LinkedIn, they're going there for business. They hang out there for business. They expect there to be business done on LinkedIn. So when you promote your services, you're promoting your medium in the right medium. So it's really cool. And again, you guys can become super creative with you can become super popular with just a little bit of content and really good engagement. So when you leave really good remarks, it's going to power you up. So one of the things you have to realize is that your industry is going to have its own authentic voice. You need to speak the voice of your industry. Okay? You need to speak the voice of your industry. The number one thing to building influence, what do you think the number one thing to building influence is? Value. What else? To influence somebody, they have to what? They have to know, like, and trust. That's right. I think if you want somebody to buy from you, they have to feel like they're getting good value for their money or their time. So value would be for that one. So in order to get somebody to like you, in order to get somebody to be influenced by you, they have to trust you. So there's a couple of ways to build trust, right? One is word of mouth. Your friend refers you to somebody. Other way is you can get some online trust because we're building content that's of value to people. So when you build content that is of value to others, they start to trust you and they start to feel like they know you and they start to like you if your personalities are the same. So when you post stories to yourself. Here's a question you can ask yourself later on. What makes you unique? Right? Ask yourself what makes you unique and then write it down. And your personal brand is your resume, right? So how you come across online, it's your resume, it's your first impression. People aren't going to call you if they don't like what they see about you online anymore. Okay. A lot of people say, oh, I'm too late in the game, right? Have you heard that in the social game? It's too late for me to become an influencer. I missed the boat. You know, I wasn't one of the first people. Well, it's the same thing that somebody asked me and they said, why do you want to get into coaching? There's so many coaches. I said, why do you want to get into real estate? There's more realtors. I'm not concerned about being in competition with people. I'm concerned about providing so much value that people want to do business with me. So LinkedIn is still early because a lot of people just don't use LinkedIn. I mean, think about the size of the audience on Facebook versus LinkedIn. I don't know how many people are on Facebook, but I would assume the audience is on Instagram and Facebook. These social platforms are bigger than what they are for the business platforms. Right? There's just more people doing ooh, na, 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 than doing business, right? So it's super true. So one of the questions that came up that somebody asks about LinkedIn is, should you accept everybody on LinkedIn? Michael says no. What do you guys think? Should you accept everybody who follows you on LinkedIn? Yes or no?
If it's industry relevant, then yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Kim says no. So you're all right. You want to accept people. I generally check them out first. Yeah. You want to check with people that you're going to actually want to have a conversation with. LinkedIn isn't a numbers game. It's an engagement game. It's quality over quantity. It's less people, more engagement. It's the same on all platforms really, but the bigger your platform, the more gifts you get. Here, it's all about quality. Quality contacts, quality engagements, less is more. If the person has nothing that you're going to offer them, or if they don't have any use for your services, then you really don't have any use to add them to your network because you want those quality engagements. It's why Dean said I don't have more than 200 people on my Instagram friend list. 350,000 people that follow me, but I only follow 200 back because I want to see what people are talking about. So how do you create relevant content? One, it's educational, right? It's educational. But it has to educate people on what you're a brand expert on. So if I'm a realtor and I talk about mortgages, is that relevant to my clients? Yeah, because you're needing a mortgage more than likely in real estate, right? Even if you own your house outright, you might have to deal with the mortgage if you sell your house. So if you're talking about mortgages, you're talking about real estate sales. If you're talking about inspections, you're talking about real estate. But if you start talking about, you know, if you start sharing your passion, which is how NASA is blowing up spaceships left and right, well, that isn't really relevant to your market unless your market happens to be one that services NASA heavily. So make sure your content is educational, but make sure it's relevant, right? So one is it's got to be educational. Two, it's got to be relevant. If it's not relevant, but it's really good, that's awesome, but you're not going to attract who you want to attract. Three, make sure that your content has up-to-date stats. If it's something that needs to be up-to-date, it needs to be up-to-date. So if we're talking about medicine right now, and we're not talking about Corona at some level, you're not really relevant unless you're talking about ways to combat Corona naturally. And so you talk about all the different things you can do. So keep your content relevant. If it makes sense to make it inspiring, make it inspiring, right? Some content's gonna be better to be uplifted. Some content's gonna be better to not have it uplifted. So now I'm going to actually jump into a LinkedIn page, and I'm going to use mine because it sucks ass. And I'm just going to let you guys know it sucks ass. So don't get excited about it. It's bad. But I'm going to share my page with you. And I use LinkedIn very, very, very rarely, like very rarely. So where do you think the most important part of your LinkedIn profile is? The top, the bottom, the middle? Put it in the chat because I can't see all your faces right now. Top, bottom, or the middle? Or you can unmute yourself.
Top.
Top. All right, I got you guys all back on the screen. Top, 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 right? Same thing with your Instagram profile. That top little splurb is whether or not somebody's going to follow you. It's whether or not they're going to want to engage with you or not. So the first thing you guys will notice is that there's a whole bunch of things that LinkedIn is telling me that I need to do, right? Am I open to job opportunities? No. Am I showcasing services that I've offered so I can be found in the search? No. Boom, right there. Your profile picture. Business or personal? Do you want your company logo or do you want your face there?
Face.
I agree, face.
Face, yeah.
Always your face for all your profiles. It should be the same picture and it should be consistent. You want people to look you up on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twatter, on Snap, on Snoop, on this and that, and they know who you are. Sometimes people say, hey, you need to go check out that Vikram Deol dude. Here's how you spell his name. He's some brown dude. He's got a picture in a private plane. Well, then they go and look me up on LinkedIn and they don't see that picture and they see 5 or 6. There's not as many Vikram Deols as there are of your names. Okay, I can tell you that much. So they might not see very many of me, but they're going to see a lot of yous. So you want to get that, make sure that they know who you are. The second thing is this headline right here, right? Does that headline tell them what you do? If it doesn't tell them what you do, guess what? You don't do anything for them. So make sure that the headline is what you want it to be. If your city's relevant to where you are conducting your business, AKA for realtors, it's very important for them to have their city or their county that they're serving people in, right? For Ariane, he might put Los Angeles in there, or he might put like LA County because he's servicing all of LA County, or he might put in LA and Orange County. I don't know if you can put in 2, but he might do a few versus just having LA or just having Santa Monica, because his market is expansive and he can really go anywhere that he has a team. I mean, he could go to New York and build his fences if he put together a team over there.
Yeah.
Add a profile section, right? So look at all this information that you can add. Start with the top and then work your way down. So make sure that this is what you want it to be before you start going down. Now, does this background picture have anything to do with mindset business coaching?
No.
It's kind of it's like a fish out of water, literally, right? Like in real estate in the Pacific Northwest, if you live in Bellevue, you actually might know exactly where this is on the lake. But now you might not know why this is there. Like the dude likes water or something, right? He likes to, maybe he goes there and meditates or smokes a joint or trips out on mushrooms or something. Who knows? Why is it there? It's so irrelevant. So this you'd want to swap out, right? Then you want to start to go down and see, okay, what's going on? So are you a real estate are you currently here? No. Featured. So this is a newer section for LinkedIn, but this is where you used to be able to put like links and articles. Well, now these are your featured items. Is a new listing here, or is this house for sale here, have anything to do with this here? So somebody comes over here and then they scroll down and they see featured houses. Does that help them at all? Probably something that needs to be addressed, right? I told you guys my profile needs work. I wasn't big on LinkedIn. I didn't think it was a valuable asset for me because I was like, everybody on LinkedIn just spams trying to get my business. Well, shit, if it's working for them, why would I not model that? I don't know, not that smart. You guys are following a dummy. Activity. Okay, so just like Instagram, people can see what you're active on. So you can see today, I got active, right? I got active on people's stuff. I don't know where these people are, but this was a post that I just posted on, and it was, we always want your hashtag business to be in front of people's minds. Here are a few tips to brand your business. Boom, there's a link. Hashtags still work on LinkedIn. Share, click, like. So I commented, I always wanted my business to be Toma, top of mind always. Now they haven't commented back on it, and it was about an hour ago. What is the most important thing you can do on LinkedIn? Engage.
Interact with your audience.
Mouth moving. You're engaging, right? So when somebody posts on your stuff, what do? You respond. When somebody posts on your YouTube videos, what do? You respond. When somebody posts on your Instagram, what do? You respond. Somebody posts on your Facebook, you should respond to all of them. And sometimes it gets a little hard, you know, when I ask the question, how did you meet me for the first time? 100 comments. 100 comments. It's a great storyline. So I go through and I like a few, right? Oh, I met you at Tom Ferry. Oh, I met you at Tony Robbins. Oh, you know, people put, oh, I met you in the bathroom of a dark alley. So you comment on those. So like every 15 I'm commenting on, and I'm liking everybody's stuff. If it's funny, I laugh at it. I'll put a ha ha ha. But the more you engage, the more it gets boosted back up. And when Facebook sees 50 comments on your post, that's active, because most people get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's typically 2 comments and 3 responses. So engagement's key here. Remember, I'm not a professional with LinkedIn. I'm just sharing with you guys real quick some things to get you started. What's my experience have to do with what I do with coaching? Does my experience have enough to do with what I'm doing with coaching? If it doesn't, rewrite why your experience matters to what you're doing today. So what does being a real estate broker for Avenue Properties do for me? Well, I ran a team of 15 people, and we did $50 million a year in average in sales. We sold over 280, 290 houses in 5 years. And I basically managed my team. I managed the sales, I managed the marketing, and I managed the processes. Well, how does that help? Well, I had to keep my team in the right mindset to continue to build the business. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. When you write your profiles on LinkedIn, are you writing in first or third person? Remember, we're trying to get people to know, like, and trust us, not our brand, us. You are your own billboard, honey. So yes, you're right. Everything in the first person, experience. Well, you'll notice, hold on. I don't have a bio in here. I've had LinkedIn for 6, 7, 8 years, and I don't have a freaking bio in here. Look at that. I have recommendations, 15 of them. I don't even know how. I've given out 9. I don't have a bio. Guess what I need to put on LinkedIn? A bio. And the bio is going to be in first person. And your experience is going to be written to support your bio that supports your tagline. And this whole thing is SEO'd. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but it's all SEO'd. So the whole thing's going to just automatically feed out to somebody else. If you don't want to post daily, post 3 times a week and then spend 20 minutes engaging on posts daily. Post 3 times a week, comment smart. Okay, smart comments. All right, smart comments. Your about yous in your first person, right? If it's not, it feels a little distant. So be personal. Remember, people are here to do business, and they're here to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Anybody ever watch Les Brown? You gotta be hungry. You gotta be hungry. If you ain't hungry in life, right? If I just say hungry, you guys might even know that that's Les Brown. If I say Peak State, you might know that's Tony Robbins, right? They have taglines. They've built brands around their taglines. You need to do the same thing. You have to build what you're trying to get. Make it easy for people to follow you. So Sharon was I was watching this on Sharon's page. If your ideal client was on LinkedIn searching, would they search the title the same way you write it? So are people going to say, I'm looking for the CEO Entrepreneur of the Year that wrote for Forbes? And no, they're going to be like, I want a business coach. I want a mindset coach. I want a spirituality coach. I want a doctor that is holistic. I want a videographer that lives in LA. I want a construction company that is out of Santa Monica, right? That's how they look things up. I'm looking for insurance in Bakersfield. Looking for real estate opportunities in Bellevue, attorneys in Seattle, right? That's how people are going to look things up. They're not going to look it up as, I'm looking for the CEO Entrepreneur of the Year that got an award for Forbes. It's just not what they do. It's not how they operate. So you might put something along the lines like, I mentor entrepreneurs to 6-figure growth in 6 months or less. Or I help my clients win 99.9% of their lawsuits. Or I've won my clients, you know, I've won 100 out of 110 DUI cases. I don't know. Figure it out. It's your thing, not mine. You're not paying me. Stop making me think. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the shit that I'm doing here is literally like all stuff that I need too. It's like all this stuff that I'm trying to explain to you is like all stuff that we all could be using. So then you have your edit information, right? So you got your name, current position. Do you need to change it? Right? Show your education. Where are you located? What's going on? What industry are you in? You can have up to 3 websites on LinkedIn. 3 websites on LinkedIn. Uno, dos, tres, 3. How many? 3. Do you have your websites up on LinkedIn? If you don't, you can. Right? Like I said, if the city matters, put it up there. The city could actually hurt you. So somebody might see this and be like, wow, I really like this dude's style. And I really like Vic. I feel like I know him. He's so personable. He's so smart. His hair looks so good. His smile and dimples. Oh, he's in Bakersfield? Why the fuck would anybody who's smart live in Bakersfield? That's stupid. Well, fuck that. I'm going to go find a coach that's in LA. So your business, your city could hurt you or it could help you. So you got to kind of test it a little bit too. My brother told me yesterday that I was being rude to you guys by not getting you done at 3 o'clock. So we have 5 more minutes left. So we're gonna power through what I think is the most important things that I wrote down. When you guys write your profiles and you write your headlines, when you're writing them, question, what do you do for me? And put yourself in somebody else's shoes, not yours. And don't fall in love with yourself. Don't fall in love with your product. Don't fall in love with your service. You're just another person. Okay? So what do you do for me? And think about it like, what would they get from hiring you right now? And make it obvious and make it easy. This isn't the time to bang out your thesaurus and start making the words hard. Because if I don't know what you're saying, do you think I'm going to know, like, and trust you? Average person operates at a 6th grade level of English. Just throwing that out there. Your featured section, that's your lead management section. That's where you're pushing people to your new content and your traffic, right? So the articles you're running to write, the blogs you're doing, all those things. Okay. Your activity can be seen. So make sure you don't say stupid things on there. If you need to say something controversial or stupid and it might potentially hurt what other people think of you, put it into a private box and send it to that person. Hey, I have a difference of opinion. I think you're a dumbass. Works really well. I bet you'll get a response. Oh, your profile pic. You can actually change the privacy settings on it. So if you go to visibility, you want it to be public. Look, just become public. Like you're not that special that you need to hide your shit. And you're not that rich that people are going to try to fucking like come and kidnap you. So just put your shit out there. It's right. So you can have your connections, your network are all LinkedIn members. I want anybody who Googles it to see it. I'm going to show you why in a second. You can crop yours, filter it, adjust it. All right. Don't make yourself look like a tool. Don't make yourself have butterflies. I know Ariane's going to butterfly his face out. Don't do that. Come on. This is professional. So one of the questions that was asked was, do these matter right here? The endorsements. The endorsements matter some, but you're probably going to have a website that's going to have a lot of your reviews on there. You're probably going to have a Facebook with some stuff or a Yelp page with some stuff, something else. So if your recommendations aren't super high, then you can get a couple, but you don't need to spend a super amount of time on it. But you can get a couple there. The way you build trust with people is the content you produce, the videos you're posting, the information you're putting up. So if you want to get more value, do the videos, do the content creation. Again, you don't only have to post every day. You can post a couple times a week, but engage daily. And if somebody engages with you, have notifications on so you can engage back with them. It's about the conversation, right? That's what we're moving towards in this 21st century is conversation and consciousness. So don't ignore when people spend their energy and time saying hello to you. It'd be like me saying, it'd be like me walking by Blake and I'm like, hey, what's up, Blake? And Blake just completely ignores me and he just walks by and it's like, really? Now, you might not recall that you commented on people's stuff because, social, you can't really see it as easily. But eventually people will be like, man, that guy's kind of rude. And it's going to hurt you. Most important part is the top. What do people need? Again, asking the questions when you write your bio, what do they need? And how do they know that I'm the right person for them? How do they know that my business will actually serve their purposes? Push value and content over asks. When people see, especially on LinkedIn, when they see you're putting out valuable content, they're there for what? Business. 80% of them are business decision makers. They're going to just naturally reach out and be like, yo, I like your stuff. Tell me a little bit more about you. You don't have to push it down their throat. Be like, I sell this. There's a time to ask, but really on LinkedIn, you just keep promoting and promoting and promoting and promoting all the content and all the value that you have. And then, and that's it. Watch this. I can't make this shit up. I told you that SEO is crazy on LinkedIn. I'm typing my name into Google, right? Where did LinkedIn pop up with my name at?
Number one, dude.
LinkedIn is my number one thing. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I post on Facebook right now anywhere from 3 to 5 times a day. People are like, dude, I see your shit all the time. I'm like, I know. I want you to know who I don't want you to forget about me. If I look different, don't forget about me. Look at that. That's crazy. It's above Instagram and Facebook. And then the next one is Zillow, which, you know, it was from 2 or 3 years ago. And then all these pictures pop up, right? Some things pop up, and then Twitter, and then a bunch of other shit pops up. Like, Google yourself and see what people see when they Google you. Like, Google where you're at and see what people are seeing when they see you. Like, okay, Mark, you're Mark, Cheret. All right, so let's see where Mark is. Oh, look, Mark's first page of Google. There's Mark, LinkedIn. After Twitter, after Medium, after Facebook, after Angel.
And my own flipping website.
That's all right. I mean, you want your website to be up there on the first page too, but boom, it's right there on the first page. And it beats out Instagram. So for most people that are on LinkedIn, regardless of the time they join, for most people, they're going to actually get LinkedIn uploaded before a lot of their other social channels. Pretty wild, right? So your homework tonight is to go home and just play with the top part of LinkedIn. Look at your picture, look at your industry, look at your tagline. Just focus on the top part of LinkedIn, right? We don't need to go all the way crazy, but you got 120 characters. Use them effectively, right? What is it answer to? Target your audience. And does it have a couple of keywords that when people are searching, they're going to find you? Content lives for a really long time on LinkedIn is what people are saying. So people are capturing leads on LinkedIn from content they wrote weeks ago because people go to LinkedIn and they use it as Google and they search for stuff. I've searched for stuff on LinkedIn before in the past. I don't know if you have ever searched for articles on LinkedIn, but I've actually searched for stuff in the past on LinkedIn. So content will live for a longer period of time on LinkedIn. So you want to create those keywords in those taglines about you. So your homework today is to just go out there and look yourself up and then just make sure that what you're sharing is relevant to what you're actually doing. Because if it's not, that's an opportunity where people are not seeing you and you don't even have a chance to put your ticket in the hat for the drawing. Questions? Anybody want to brave through this and ask any questions?
Where is LinkedIn in your funnel?
Where is LinkedIn in my funnel? Pretty fucking high right now. Where was it up until yesterday? It was a blip in the mind that I knew I wanted to do, but I just didn't really think it was as important as what it really is. And it's super, I've actually had really big clients look me up on LinkedIn before in the past, which is why I got some of the reviews that I had. Because when they looked me up on LinkedIn, they told me that they didn't see any reviews. So then I would send them to my Zillow page where we have 120 reviews. We probably had like 40 reviews at the time. But that's what was a catalyst behind LinkedIn, is that my business clients that were buying, investment like somebody like Blake, he might look me up on LinkedIn to see if I am actually relevant to his industry, even though a lot of realtors probably aren't going to be on LinkedIn because it's not really our niche. But a business person would look us up potentially on LinkedIn. So it wasn't in my funnel, but it is now very high in my funnel because I realize that there's 700 million people there that make 75 grand a year, and they're all 80% of them are business decision makers. Well, I want to impact business owners and businesses. So that's exactly where I can go and get my foot in the door to say hello to people and share some content with them and get engagement that way versus on Instagram and Facebook, where you have a lot of talking heads competing, and people don't spend a lot of time on your stuff there. I if anybody knows the stat, I was wondering, I wonder how much time people spend per post on Facebook and Instagram versus LinkedIn. That'd be an interesting stat to see. My assumption is that you probably spend a little bit more time on LinkedIn posts because you're probably trying to read and learn something, versus Facebook and Instagram, you're just trying to be entertained.
Yeah, my thinking exactly as well.
So the medium and the message really are in sync with each other.
Thanks, man. Would you go pro on LinkedIn?
I was pro for a really long time. Again, I was pro for a while, so that's what makes me really sad, is that when I go back to this LinkedIn profile, you'll see over here at some point I was pro. I don't know why we went pro. I think we just wanted to kind of double dip on everything. When we were in real estate, we wanted there to be no stones left unscathed. But it asked me when I logged in if I want to go pro again, and they give you a special deal. Restart trial. So I can go premium and I can get a 90-day trial right now. I don't know if you guys can, but if you look into the right-hand side of your posts, you might see some things there. Another really cool thing about LinkedIn is that you can see who's viewing, what people are viewing. I think the reason why I went pro last time is because I wanted to see who was checking me out and who are their friends that were checking me out as well. So then I could use that as a recruiting tool to go out and message those people and be like, hey, I saw that you were checking out our team on LinkedIn. Did you want to have a conversation about how to grow your business? Kim asked, what made you decide that LinkedIn's important? I've always known LinkedIn was important. It wasn't important enough, though, to actually put any effort in, because all of my mentors and all the people I follow were very Instagram heavy. And so I didn't really put the effort into LinkedIn because I thought it would be the least effective way to get eyeballs onto me. After listening to the message today, I think LinkedIn is probably one of the easier ways to get traffic onto us, because people are here for this reason. So that's what made me decide to change my mind on LinkedIn. I've always wanted to get more involved with LinkedIn because it just makes mental sense. Business, right? Business website, business owners, people are here for business. I didn't realize how important it actually was until listening to it again. Like I said, all my mentors, all my coaches were always doubling down on Instagram. Nobody talks about LinkedIn really. It's kind of like that. In the social media world, it's kind of like the black sheep, I guess you can call it.
I've got another question. What turned me off LinkedIn for the most time was that I get like 100 recruitment requests per week, and they're all basically irrelevant because they're not fucking reading my profile, and it pisses me off.
You mean like all
yeah, but I mean, yours are from November, something like that. Mine are from this morning and 5 minutes ago. It's really crazy. I checked all my notifications last Wednesday,
Uh-huh.
1 week on, I've got 136 notifications. So that hugely turned me off the platform for very long. I don't know if this is a common problem or if I need to restyle my profile to ward those guys off or something. I have no idea.
You know, it's like when I do a story on Instagram and I put in no, I didn't watch him on I didn't watch Gary Vee say that it was the most underrated platform, Kim, but the person who I learned from today was an ex-employee of Gary Vee. So do the math on that one. I don't know what to tell you, Mark, on that as far as the notifications. I don't know. There's times where I would have like 75 new messages, and I went through and I deleted a lot of them. So I went through the last couple of days and I deleted, because I started using LinkedIn again a couple of days ago. So you can see I started just reaching out to some people and responding back to them a couple of days ago. So April 14th, 13th. I've deleted a lot of shit in here, and some of these people, they'll reach out to you like 5 times. I had one person that sent me like 7 messages and I never responded. That might be a Google YouTube answer to improve how that goes. I don't know though what to tell you on that one. So the other thing is, so if you can see this, Jasmine Stark, she's a second contact, right? I don't know who she is, but maybe this person is a first contact. So because Rodney, who was a first contact, commented on Jasmine's stuff or liked it, he pops up under my page just because he liked the picture, right? So she's a second view. So I'm friends with her through Rodney, or I'm an acquaintance, but she pops up. So that's how LinkedIn works. It'll show your stuff to random people if your notifications are set up, and it'll just show it to them all the time. And then you start to get things in here like, so she's a first, she's a second, but I follow LinkedIn Seattle, so that's why I saw her. So it's kind of interesting when you start looking at the way that they promote their platform. But look at how easy it is to use. I mean, look at how easy this is to use. Like, this is just too simple. And then that's it. Did I answer your question? I don't know if I answered your question or not, Mark.
Nah, it's fine. All good. I was just wondering, maybe you had the same topic, same issue, and so you solved it somehow, but it is fine, man.
I don't.
Thanks.
I don't. Anybody else have any questions?
I know people got to go, and maybe this is not the right time for it, but do you want to critique a profile like mine?
So you guys have the homework. Obviously, you guys have the homework. I did not get Bedros to come on this week, but we're going to do a special webinar with him next week. So we're going to do an interview with him, podcast style, but you guys will be able to actually watch him live. And so once him and I are done, we might be able to tap in and answer some of your guys' questions. So that's really cool. So let's go to share screen here. If you guys want to pop off, you're more than welcome to, but so Blake Robbins, picture of him and his wife, principal of Hillstone Capital, Bellevue, Washington. So let's go, and so if I go to message, can I message you? Yep. Okay. If I go to more, can I give you a share profile, request a recommendation, remove, follow, contact info right here. So this is how I can get a hold of Blake. These are his websites. So he's got 2, which is great. He's got his business profile for LinkedIn, his email, his Twitter. No phone number, right? So you might get a Google Voice number that you might want to put in here that you can have a couple of automations. Hey, we received your message. We'll get back to you in a short period of time if you want, if that's something you care about. or you can use
Good idea.
like Ring Central or Just Call, or I don't know if Google Voice will do any kind of notification to your real number, but there's, you know, Just Call and Ring Central are services you can put here. And you can text and call from it, so you're not giving out your personal number. I don't know what principle of Hillstone Capital is, because I don't know what Hillstone Capital does.
Mm.
So I don't really know where Hillstone Capital is. Your best days are ahead. I don't know if that's relevant to what you're actually doing with your hedge fund. I understand that you're going up. So, you know, you have ups and downs in the market, but essentially you're going up by the arrows. So you might want to ask yourself, is that something relevant to your audience or not?
Right.
Picture with you. I know your wife's your business partner, but typically they recommend more of a headshot. So just you in there with your sexy mug, and not your hot wife.
Okay.
Providing services, commercial lending, and real estate.
Yeah, I
Probably
need to
could
change that.
update that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what your service that you're really doing is. Blake accepts messages and inquiries. Okay, so Blake's a whore. What is Blake's top skill? I mean, these really don't necessarily apply to you in your
Yeah, I don't know why they're there.
business. So I'm gonna say, I'd probably say none of them, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't do loans. You kind of help with some strategic financial planning, but financial planning in the sense of like, it's not you. Business strategy, maybe you could say, but it's not really what your bread and butter is, right? So I'm gonna just X out of that. Your highlight reel, your about reel. So that's good. Your about reel is about you in first person. So I enjoy accomplishing great things with great people. I'm committed to growth. Relationships are important to me, and having successful relationships is what motivate me. I believe in being the best in which is possible. I've watched. So your about is got some nice things for connection, but I don't know what you do.
Got it. Okay.
So when I read this, I'm like, oh, great. Blake likes people. Seems like a nice guy. He's got hot chick in his picture, great hair. Not as much as I have, but you know, it seems nice. And then your featured stuff, is this relevant to what your headline is?
It's
Right?
relevant to what I do, but not to my headline. I need to update that headline.
Perfect. So there we go. So we need to update the headline versus updating the featured articles, because if these, I see the commercial banking and everything there. So if that doesn't match this, then you know what I'm saying? And Bellevue is great because people look up Bellevue all the time, and you're mainly focused in Bellevue. You might branch out to saying Seattle because it's probably a bigger thing that's looked up than Bellevue is. I don't know. I don't know how much that's searched, if that matters as much. And then just, you know, does your experience here, so what did you do at, you know, so what I always thought, personally, I was always describing the company that I worked for, right? Which is what you do. Empower is a financial management service company. We provide financial expert. What is your experience with the company though? And how is that relevant to what you did for the next person?
Good. Okay.
So I know what you did here at Empower, because this is when we met. So I remember when we were at Empower, but it was Empower Real Estate. So I know what you did there, but why would I want to do business with you now? So that's good. Your volunteer experience is nice. I know you do a lot of volunteering. I actually love that volunteering stuff you do. So you might put a little bit more of some of the stuff you do in there, where you go out and you do the homeless food drives or the homeless barbecues that you do. I don't know if you're still doing those, but if you are, that was really awesome. Skills and endorsements. Again, these aren't as important from what is said by the experts. Your skills and endorsements aren't as important if your content is really powerful. Damn, look at Mark's fucking setup. Holy shit. Sorry.
Wow.
I said I would show it off in a Facebook comment to you, but maybe that's not the main topic now. We can make it later if you want.
That is
Dude. Holy smokes. No wonder you don't sleep at night. All that blue light is just totally messing with your melatonin. Holy crap.
Wow.
Oh, I just think I got a Woody. Fuck, man, that is sick.
All
Okay.
right, dude, that's good. That's some good changes for me to make. Thank you.
And then your recommendations, you might want to ask for some that are more relevant 2014. So you might need to update that so that it's more relevant into your current world.
Good idea. Okay, thanks, man.
That's a pretty high level, pretty quick rip apart of your. It's not as bad as mine.
It's perfect. Thanks, bro.
Cool. So you guys got your homework assignment for tomorrow. I'm gonna go shave the rest of my hair off my head. I'm gonna go bald. Maybe. Probably not. Seems like a lot more work than it's worth. But you guys have your homework assignments for tomorrow. Use that Facebook page. I know it might not be what you want to do. I don't care if that's what you want to do. We all signed up for Limitless Growth, so just go do it.